The skirts for my Voron V0, or now my Tri-Zero, have always been a little bit complicated. Because of the number of power supplies that I've been using, having my skirts be the normal Voron V0 or the normal Tri-Zero was never going to work. I simply needed more height. As a result, I basically modified the Tri-Zero's skirt so that I could fit more power supplies underneath, and that's what I'm going to be showing in this video. Installing that, I'm here getting the electronics installed too while I had the chance. But yeah, we're going to be going into the skirts and all of that. The skirts is also where the stepper motors mount for the Tri-Zero, which is a very important component. So I had to make sure that I didn't move the stepper motor mounts too much or at all. I think I didn't end up moving them at all, but on this reassembly of the printer, I'm going to be switching from having two Meanwell 150 watt 24 volt power supplies to having one LDO 300 watt 24 volt and 5 volt power supply, and I will be keeping the same 200 watt 48 volt Meanwell power supply that I had before for the A and B motors of my printer. I made some fairly large design flaws on these skirt pieces. Specifically, mounting them is borderline impossible, and tightening the set screw for the pulleys is also borderline impossible. And that's something that I spent a lot of time fighting with. I thought I had printed a display mount, but turns out that none of them fit. And the display, while I want to mount it, it's not a priority, so I just left it without. Before I put the power supplies in, I needed to prepare all the wiring. I needed to have the AC inlet go into the right spot, and I needed to decide basically how I was going to wire it. If I was going to keep my old system of Wagos for live, neutral, and ground, or if I was going to use the splitter that's built into the LDO power supply, which is what I ended up deciding to do, as that would keep the wiring neater and make it easier to change anything in the future, because it'll be easier to tell what's connected where. Before wiring the C13 plug, I tested it with my multimeter to confirm that my live, neutral, and ground were all the wires that I thought they were. Then I wired them up to the correct terminal, confirming once again with the multimeter. I chose to do this because it's, in my opinion, it's much safer to do it this way, rather than me just trusting what I've done in the past, because that's how I end up making mistakes. That's how I end up frying things. So I made sure to triple check with a multimeter, and then I got to the wiring. So the first thing I connected to the LDO power supply is the 5 volt cable going to power the Raspberry Pi. Now we have the 24 volt for powering the MCU that I'm fishing out of there. I also made sure to route the heated bed cable through the deck panel. Apologies if there's any background noise. The Tri-Zero is currently printing. For once, I actually ordered the correct cabling off McMaster-Carr, so it was nice to wire this up. It was fairly straightforward. I had the right colors, I had the right tools, so it was a lot smoother than I expected it to be. Here I'm prepping all of the cables that are going to connect from the splitter on the LDO power supply to the 48 volt power supply. And just like that, printers are more or less ready to go. I still need to finish wiring up the 24 volt circuit and the 24 volt for the tool head. It's not connected, but I'll get right to that. In the meantime, the Tri-Zero has been making progress. This video is from a little bit in the past, but I wanted to take the moment to talk about the skirts and talk about the power supply organization, because it's a big thing about my printer and it's very different than other ones. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to posting the next video, because the next one's going to be the finale of the Tri-Zero. So that's going to be pretty cool.